Mustang football brought to you by Northern Colorado Title. For all of your title needs, visit Tim Weimer at Northern Colorado Title at 205 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan. We start this fourth quarter with a play for Erie on a 2nd and 4 play. They lose yards, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
Fort Morgan had an answer for Anderson on that play.
Anderson did keep the ball himself after faking, as he's done so many times here in the game. After faking the pitch or faking the handoff, he keeps it himself, but Fort Morgan equal to the task that time, bring him down for a loss, and it is 3rd and 8 now from the 42-yard line of Fort Morgan territory. We get a man in motion. Anderson fakes it. He's looking to pass this time. He rolls back, and he's sacked there. Cole Frisbee with the big sack. That's going to be a loss of 6 and bring up a long 4th down play as Erie is moving the wrong direction here to start this fourth quarter. The punt team coming onto the field.
Fort Morgan at that timeout must come up with a plan. It's certainly working on those last 2 plays.
The wind's starting to pick up here a little bit as it's blowing from the west. Sure you can hear it on our microphones. A little bit of a high snap for Dudley, who doesn't get off a very good punt. It lands and goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A 10-yard punt there. So 1st and 10 for Fort Morgan. As they will take the ball over here in the fourth quarter, 10:35 on the clock, still leading 7-6.
Certainly not the plan that the Erie coaches had for fourth quarter, to start off with a couple negative yardage plays and then give Fort Morgan the ball on a terrible punt.
You can really point to the special teams as the difference here. The blocked punt, that punt right there, and the missed PAT, blocked PAT. As Martins will keep the ball himself as he comes off of this first play. He's across the 40 of Erie territory down to the 35 to the 30. The ball comes out, and it is recovered by Fort Morgan territory on the keeper. Martins down. He doesn't look like he's kind of favoring that left arm. Martins with a big play on that first down play. He gets into Erie territory down to the 25-yard line.
He just had one defender to beat, and the defender got a hold of him and held on to him.
They'll spot the ball with the officials at the 26. Martins appears to be okay as he heads to the sideline to get a new play.
That was a nice 40-yard scamper. We were talking off the air about no huge plays. It's been kind of a grind type of play or game. So far this half, Fort Morgan's had 2 big plays, the 35-yard pass to Anderson, and now Martin's 40-yard run.
So Martin's involved on 2 pretty big plays, gaining a lot of yards. Most of this game has been played in between the 20s. As Martins turns, hands it off to his fullback, who is met immediately as he tries to go through the middle of the line. He will get no gain. Jared Bone, the ball carrier, and it'll bring up 2nd and 9. They'll give him a yard.
Let's hope Fort Morgan can find the answer to get in the end zone, and then all they'll have to do is hold Erie for maybe one more drive.
The temperature really has dropped here as the wind has picked up from where we are sitting. 2 men spread wide. 2 men behind Martins, who's under the center. He will turn and fake the handoff. No, he does give it to Bohm, who goes off the right side of the line, off right tackle, and he will have no gain there, bringing up a 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9 is not what they needed at this point. They need to be 3rd and 5 or less. Let's credit the Erie defense with a good stand right here.
Mustang football brought to you by West Tech Rentals. Whether you're a contractor or a homeowner, West Tech Rentals is your source for rental equipment and landscaping materials. So a 3rd and 9 play here, a big play here for Fort Morgan as they can pick up some yardage and put themselves at least into field goal territory to put some extra points on the board. Martin's under center, 3 men in the backfield. Alexander dotting that as the tailback. Alexander will get the fake and open again down the field is Anderson as Martins tries to find him at the pylon and he's unable to connect.
Yeah, that was right in his hands. I imagine he's wishing he had another chance to catch that one.
kind of an odd angle as Aaron Anderson ran the post route, and it was almost thrown directly over his head as he had to kind of look up to the sky to try and locate that football, try to look behind him by looking up. So a 4th and 9 play here. The offense will stay on the field. As after that big play, the big run by Martins, they've only been able to muster 1 yard. 4th and 9. Martins under center, 3 men in the backfield. They will turn and fake the handoff again. Martins has a man open. That is Pineda, who is down the field across the 15. And I'm not sure he's going to be...
Yeah,
they will give him the first down. So Pineda picks up enough yardage for that first down. They'll spot the ball at the 14. He needed to gain the 15. Check that the 16, so he gets it by 2 yards.
Huge play for Fort Morgan at this time.
That keeps the drive alive on that 4th down play. 8 minutes and counting here. 8:07 and counting here at Tiger Stadium. 7-6 the score still. Martins under center, 3 men in the backfield, 2 tight ends. Martins turns, hands the ball off to Pineda, who will go through the middle of the line off the right side. He will fall forward to about the 8-yard line. That'll be a gain of 6. And it'll be 2nd and 4.
That was a nice end around that Pineda turned upfield when he saw an opening up the middle.
Martins again over at the sideline, content with taking time here. If Fort Morgan can put some points on the board, you have to feel confident in their defense, what they've done here this second half, really limiting Erie's chances.
And Erie will have to go into the wind.
3 men in the backfield. Martins fakes it. He will keep it himself. He falls forward. Did he get enough across the end zone? The goal line, he will be just short. But he does pick up the first down there. So 1st and goal after the Martins carry.
And the wind is going out of Erie's sails as they see this 4th quarter not going the way they want. Fort Morgan has a chance to go up by 8 and force Erie to score and convert a 2-point play.
So another power I formation, 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks. Alexander deep. Martin's taking his time. He will keep it himself, go across the goal line, and he is in for the touchdown.
Yeah, that sneak that worked really well against Brush 2 weeks ago. Last week, not as much success. Always good for a yard or 2. Good tough run by Martins.
So the Martins 1-yard touchdown run. As he takes a look at his helmet here. He is the holder on these PAT tries by Frick. The score now 13-6. This PAT ever important to put them up by 8. Martins gets the snap. It is down. It is up, and it is no good. So Frick again missing a late field goal after the Mustangs to go up. We talked with Coach Chisholm about that. He told us that last week he remained positive. It doesn't do you any good to get down on Frick. It's nothing you can change once the kick goes wide. So PAT no good. It is only 13-6, a 7-point ball game, but Fort Morgan does still have the lead. Fort Morgan football is brought to you by Bijou T-Quest. Stop by 302 Main Street in Fort Morgan. Letter jackets, t-shirts, banners, and more. They're also your local experts customizing your team's sports apparel. 13-6, 6:37 on the clock here in the 4th quarter in Erie.
Comes down to which team's going to want it most. Right now, it looks like Fort Morgan wants it most. We'll see how Erie responds.
Frick will tee the ball up at the 40-yard line. He'll be kicking right to left.
That'd be a really good time for him to just boom one into the end zone.
A touchback. He does have 2 on the season, both of those coming at Mountain View last week. But definitely would be what the doctor orders here if he can put one through the end zone. The kick is a line drive kick fielded at the 10-yard line by Erie. They will bring it up through the middle of the field across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Colton Brink on the return, a 24-yard return. And Erie will have the football 1st and 10 at the 34.
I think if Fort Morgan can hold them on this drive, the next time they come out, they're going to be forced to pass because time will be running short, and then Fort Morgan will have them. Erie has not proven that they can pass the ball all season. One completion on the entire season.
1st and 10, a big drive here for Erie, an equally big drive here for Fort Morgan if they can stop them. Erie hands the ball through the middle of the line. No, it goes left, and some running room there for Erie. The ball comes out at the end by the tackle. Fort Morgan jumping up and down, saying they have the football. That ball out on the far sideline, the Fort Morgan side. No indication yet by the referees. And it is Fort Morgan football. So a huge fumble. I believe Atkins on the carry. He puts the ball on the ground for the second straight week. And Fort Morgan recovers at the 40-yard line of Erie territory. So a short-lived possession for Erie. As now Fort Morgan, if they're able to move the football again 40 yards, they will find pay dirt. But more importantly, 6:21 on the clock. Erie does still have all 3 timeouts.
This is gut check time. Fort Morgan's got to establish a nice pattern here and run the ball.
Martin's under center, the full backfield. He'll turn and hand it to Alexander, who goes right tackle. He'll gain about 5. Check it 4, and it'll be a 2nd and 6.
Alexander having a really nice ball game. That was his 10th carry of the game.
Alexander having 10 carries all of last game for 52 yards. Again, to point it out, all of those were in the second half where it really helped Fort Morgan come back from that 21-7 deficit. Here we're 13-6 Fort Morgan over Erie, 5:45 and counting. Martin's taking his time as he has 2 tight ends, 3 men in the backfield, 2 fullbacks, and 1 deep back. That is Alexander, who does get the ball. He'll go right again, dive forward for another couple yards, bringing up a 3rd and short.
He was met at the line of scrimmage, and he found a way to roll off the first tackler and get some yards after contact.
So far gaining 4 yards and 2 yards on this drive, which started at the 40-yard line of Erie territory after the fumble. Already over a minute taken. We'll have an official's timeout here. Figure out what is going on. And now they will start the clock back up. So the official's timeout lasting all of about 10 seconds, and they will start the clock back up. Now under 5 minutes to go here in the game. Martin's under center, turns, hands it to Bohm, who goes off the left side this time, gets to the 30, where he's halted there, stood up, finally going down, but with forward progress, it will have the 30-yard line, and that should be enough for the first down. And the official will call for a measurement. Nope, it will be a first down.
That was huge. A couple inches, just enough to get the first down.
So Jared Bohm with some hard nose running through the middle of the line picks up the first down. The ball will be spotted at the 30-yard line on the far hash of Erie territory towards that Fort Morgan sideline. 4:24 and counting now. Fort Morgan up 13-6. Martins will go under center. He'll have that full backfield again, 2 tight ends. Martin's waiting to see the play clock, if you will, of the field judge, the back judge. He will turn and hand the ball off, and the ball will go off the left side here. Jared Bohm again. No, check that. Fitzsimmons with the carry. As he gains a few, and it will be a 2nd and 6 play.
Two things we want to do here, hold on to the ball and get first downs.
And keep the clock moving. That is what is important right now. As the clock is on Fort Morgan's side, Erie still with all 3 timeouts, electing not to use any, hoping that they can get a stop and use them on offense. Martins again turns hands to Fitzsimmons, who goes right side, doesn't get much of a gain. It'll bring a 3rd and 5, give him a yard on that run. The clock approaching 3 minutes, and it does. It dips under those 3 minutes. Fort Morgan football brought to you by Insurance Connection. Whether it's health, life, or dental insurance, or Medicare supplements, see Sharon Kaufman at Insurance Connection. Fort Morgan will go under center. Will Martins, 2 men in the backfield, 2 tight ends. Again, that power I formation. Fitzsimmons is the deep back. This time the ball goes to one of the fullbacks, who will go through the middle of the line and plunge forward. I think he's just shy of the first down. Jared Bohm again with the carry. Just short. So that'll bring up a 4th and short. And I need short, less than half a yard. Got a timeout called by Erie with 2:29 remaining on the clock. We'll step aside as well. This timeout is brought to you by Edwards, Right Price Market, and Flowerland, located at 1201 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. Stop by and get what you need to refuel on game days. 13-6 here, Fort Morgan in Erie. With 2:29 on the clock, you're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com. Mustang Football brought to you by Equitable Savings and Loan, Northeast Colorado's hometown savings and loan, in Fort Morgan and Brush. Welcome back to Tiger Stadium. I'm Alex E. and Kevin Rohde alongside. 2:29 remaining in the game. Fort Morgan up 13-6. Martins under center, facing a 4th and 1. There's a bit of a jump there as Martins with the hard count. We'll see if that was on Fort Morgan or Erie. There was movement on both sides of the football. I saw some Erie players jump. I saw some Fort Morgan players jump. We'll see what the officials have to say about it. Fort Morgan players clapping, and I think they might have just gotten a gift. Offsides against Erie. That will be a 1st down. So the discipline coming into play here for Erie as they were jumping at the bit for Martins to pull a fast one and do a QB sneak through the middle of the line, but they couldn't stay onside, and that brings up a 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line.
Erie can only stop the clock 2 more times.
Martins again with that full backfield. He'll turn, hand the ball off to one of his fullbacks who will go through the middle of the line. Pick up about a yard. Jared Bohm with the carry, and it'll be a 2nd and 8 play. The clock's still moving, 2:14 and counting.
Bohm running in the middle with both hands on the ball, making sure that they don't strip them. Hold the ball, get another 1st down. End of game.
Fort Morgan hasn't won back-to-back games since their state championship run, where they lost in the finals in 2008. Not only would it be back-to-back wins, it would be back-to-back wins away, which is big for your confidence going back to Legion Field next week. Again, Martin's waiting to see the hand go up at the back judge. He will snap the ball, hand it off to his deep back. Just a few yards there, maybe not even a yard. And Erie will call another timeout as Fitzsimmons was on that carry. That is the 2nd timeout by Erie. 1 minute, 30 seconds showing on the clock here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, on that play, Fitzsimmons had the ball out a little bit, and the Erie defenders were going for it. Coach Chisholm's probably going to tell him, make sure you wrap up that ball.
The turnover here would be costly, as Fort Morgan does not want to give a gift to Erie like they received one to start this drive. They started this from the Erie 40. They are now down to the Erie 13, facing a 3rd and 8 play. They received that ball from a fumble after Erie had just gotten the ball back after Fort Morgan scored to go up 13-6.
And in Ullman, the wind has picked up. It's probably at about 15, 20 miles an hour, blowing straight into the Erie faces of the Erie team. If they do get the ball back, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be
80 yards, 90 yards into this wind with a minute left.
Tough to move the ball through the air with this wind. It is a biting wind, a cold wind. As both teams will come from their respective sidelines. A big 3rd down and 9 play here. I expect we'll see Martins try to get Erie to jump off sides again. Martins with a long snap count. He will keep it himself, and he's got room to run off the right side. If he can get around the edge, he's across. He will lean forward across the 10 to the 5. I'm not sure if he's close enough. We'll see what the spot is. But he is darn close to that 1st down marker.
He made a decision to go down and keep the clock running rather than go out of bounds. We'll see how that works out for him. Looks like 4th down.
And 4th and short. The clock should be moving. You can see the coaching staff from Fort Morgan trying to get them to do that. And we will see Erie call its final timeout with 1:21 on the clock. 4th and a yard is what they'll call it. It's a bit less than that. For Fort Morgan, when we come back, you're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com. The Mustangs face a 4th and 1 here from the 5-yard line of Erie territory. If they get this 1st down, the game essentially is over as Erie is out of timeouts. Martins will go under center, the full backfield again, 2 tight ends. Martins turns, hands the ball off to Alexander, I believe, who dives forward. We'll see if he's got enough for the 1st down. Martin's taking a look at where they spot the ball and the sticks. And it is going to need a measurement.
Good second effort by Alexander. He was hit a couple yards short and spun off and worked really hard to get that 1st down. Let's hope it works out that way.
And we'll see. This ball spotted just to the south side of the 5-yard line. I think that's going to be enough.
Yeah.
It is enough. 1st down, Fort Morgan, 1:15 on the clock, and that should about do it. As Fort Morgan can really just kneel the ball out here unless they want to go for the jugular and put some extra points up on the board. They are only at the 5-yard line of Erie territory.
What a huge measurement that was for Fort Morgan. Again, Alexander with that little bit of extra effort wins this victory for Fort Morgan.
It looks like Fort Morgan content to use up as much time as possible, and it looks like that victory formation, a smart play here. Conservative don't want to lose the football and give Erie some momentum. Martins goes under center, the victory formation. He will take a knee, and that will all but do it. 50 seconds on the clock. We'll see at least one more snap, maybe 2. But Fort Morgan, barring any tragic events here, will hang on and win this football game.
Erie, a preseason favorite, was in the rankings until they lost last week. Now they're 1-2.
Again, Martins will take the knee. 23 seconds shows on the clock, and that will do it. Fort Morgan goes over to their sideline, and they celebrate as they have won the football game. 13-6, the clock counting down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fort Morgan wins back-to-back games for the first time since 2008, back-to-back road games, as they are on top of Erie here 13-6. That is the final here from Tiger Stadium. When we come back, we'll have the post-game show and post-game stats for you. You're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com.